Still getting used to all
Forget me?
this, so bear with me. This is totally new. Um,
What's up, everybody? Yeah,
Welcome to the show.
totally different, but gonna be great.
It's going to be different, but it's great. Yeah. So welcome to Hitting the Chip by itself.
Podcast.
A new podcast. Uh, yeah. So for everybody, we are. I'm Jordan. I'm the driver of the 13S Gam. Welcome to the show. This is going to be a lot of fun. This is going to be something a little bit new. We've transitioned away from the Scrub and Tires media, and we're on our own now. So bear with us. We're on a whole new platform as well. As you guys all hopefully saw, I posted an hour ago that we're live on YouTube only right now. Facebook has some stupid rules about when you start a new page and you got to be there for so long in order to, start doing live stuff. So for the short term and the time being, we're going to be right here, right? Like we're going to be right here, watch right through YouTube. So, and until that changes, we'll make the announcements and whatnot as things progress. But yeah, welcome to the show. I'm gonna kick it over to this guy. This way?
Very
Which way?
there you
That
go.
way?
That way.
Okay.
What's up, everybody? Jake Smith, driver of the 89 Gam and co-host of Hit the Chip podcast. It's gonna be fun. Uh, just to kind of bury the hatchet with what George said with Scrub and Tires Media. Just decided to go our own way, and we wish Brandon and Blair the best and their future endeavors with the Scrub and Tires Media and the Throne Sliders podcast. But we just felt it was right for us to go our own way and start our own thing. So
Yeah.
we have a lot of ideas for this year with what we want to do with the podcast and everything that we want to do, how we want to run it and guests and everything like that. So bear with us, like George said. We'll have updates as we go along. We'll do guests, special guests, not only from state of Colorado, but we have a couple lined up that hopefully in the next few months that are going to be out of state and just not try to like hint anything or anything, but um, have some really special guests. So plus we'll also kind of announce stuff that we do with the track as they come along. So
Yep. Yeah, I've had those conversations with them about what we're doing, and they're fully on board, and they're excited to still progress and make some announcements and talk with us, and inform all of you guys what's going on there and whatnot. So yeah, so look forward to that. I'm trying to get a talk with Jim or the new owners again here pretty quickly. I actually talked to Brian Lawrence today about it, so we'll get something up. I know Jim was kind of been in and out. He's been doing some vacations and working behind the scenes on a lot of different stuff. So it's been kind of hard to track down a little bit, but stay tuned. I mean, there's definitely going to be some chances that we get to speak with them directly. But to not take away from this episode, we have a special guest tonight to kick off the new season for Hitting the Chip. And hopefully, most majority of you people watching know who he is. And it's Kyle Ray. We've been friends with him for a very long time, known him a very long time, and it's been one thing that we weren't quite sure if he was wanting to come on our show. But Jake had a conversation with him here not too long ago, and he was all for it. So we're excited, and hopefully you guys are too. Um, we're kind of shooting at the edge of the hip here. We haven't quite made like all of the video assets and all the things that we normally have, so bear with us. But we are going to have the you know question portion of the show where you guys get to ask your questions that you want to have for Kyle, and so get them ready. We're going to sit here and kind of chat with him for a good portion of the show, and then turn it over to you guys, and you guys can ask your questions. So yeah, with that being said, should we
bring him
just
on.
bring him right on?
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. Here we go. There he is.
Hello.
There he is. There's that
How's it
face.
going, guys?
Doing good. How are you tonight?
Doing good.
Good.
Welcome to the show.
The effing show.
Yeah.
The best show.
The best show. The best show.
I think Kyle's gonna have a good show for us tonight because talking with you a couple weeks ago, you had some things that you wanted to talk about, so we'll get into those. But to start off, we just want to give you kind of the floor, kind of tell everybody where you started, how you got where you're at, and kind of where things are going to go for you here this season and beyond. So take her away, hit the floor.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys. I'm a fan, a loyal fan of your show. So
Great. We love it.
I'm glad that you guys, you know, represent for the Colorado racers and the track, and are a voice out there for guys like. So, but yeah,
Appreciate it.
yeah, I've raced at CNS. I think my first season there was 2006, 2005.
Damn.
First time I raced there was in a it was a sprint car or midget when they raced the asphalt like the ASCS 360 sprint cars there,
Yeah.
and then the RMMRA midgets when they raced the dirt cars on asphalt with asphalt tires, and that was a lot of fun. I don't think they'll ever do that again just because those are all dirt classes now, but
Yeah.
it was pretty fun at the time.
Yeah.
I do miss that being on the schedule though. Like I remember when they used to have them when we were kids, like once a year they would bring the midgets on, and I mean it's just a different style of racing. You know what I mean? Like those things haul ass, and they're so small that they put on such a good show. Um, but anyways, continue on. Sorry.
Oh, no worries. Yeah, before that, we did a lot of go-kart racing. We raced shifter karts, tag karts at IMI, which is real close to CNS. There, we raced those in the track at Centennial, which reopened recently, which
Yeah.
is awesome. Grand Junction Motor Speedway. There's quite lot of go-kart tracks here. In Colorado, Bandimere closed down now, but that was the first place I ever raced was that kart track. And I started racing those when I was like 14.
Yeah.
That ever since then I stopped playing football and all those sports and just went racing.
Did you ever race down at the track? It was south of the Springs, not quite Pueblo.
SBR Park.
Yeah.
Oh,
Did you ever race down
no.
there?
It's like kind of near
No.
Callahan, I think.
Oh, Callahan, yeah.
Yeah,
See,
yeah,
it was
yeah.
called CRE. Yeah, we
CRE.
used to go race down there. I think they still race motorcycles down there. My buddy races crotch rockets,
Yeah.
and they race these little, like, I don't know, they look like pit bikes, but full size guys on them. And they line up. They do like it's like MotoGP, but the guys are like way bigger than the bikes. It's pretty cool to watch.
Oh my gosh, that would be
That's-
hilarious.
Shit, that's like social media gold right there.
Oh hell yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they have film. They have drones that fly over the race, and they literally like follow them on the track. And they have really cool like videos. I'm sure you can find them.
Oh
My
yeah.
buddy showed me.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's badass.
Look.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I know, just to back up a little bit, more on kind of like your history and stuff. I mean, you're not obviously the first generational racer that comes from your family, correct?
No. Yeah, my grandpa raced at Englewood Speedway. He raced in the modifieds back then, and those modifieds became like the super modifieds, like the Englewood race ERA
Yeah.
that ran around here with the super modifieds. That's that same club that raced at Englewood back in the day. And yeah, I call my grandpa Gramps, which you guys know him very well.
Yeah.
Oh,
He
yeah.
actually sponsored your dad when Chuck was racing.
Yeah, I
So-
remember that.
Stony Creek.
Stony Creek Concrete. Yep.
I have that one forever engraved. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And then your old man, he worked at CNS, correct?
Yeah. So Gramps and Dad worked there as officials for a while. Gramps was the pit steward and ran the pits, kind of like what I guess what Witherwax would be doing nowadays.
Right.
Kind of like that area. And then Dad was an official. And then Dad actually raced a super stock out there, which was like the sportsmen when they were Camaros.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
kind of look like the figure eights. Yeah, he raced that for a little bit, but he kind of likes working on the cars more than driving them. So
Yeah.
that's kind of why he stopped. But
Yeah.
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 That's interesting.
Man,
I
yeah.
didn't know he raced.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember
I
That's
seeing.
remember
news to
putting
me.
stickers on his car. He painted all his decals himself outside. Stony Creek Concrete real big on the side, his kids' names on the car. And then I go and slap like a STP sticker or something right on top of it. But I was pretty young back then.
Buddy.
Oh, that's awesome.
There
That's
was
awesome.
I think Mark Remkamp's dad, he posted some pictures of like old programs back in the late 80s, early 90s, and had your Gramps and your dad in
Yeah.
their pictures, and everybody wearing the same hat, and it's like 6 inches off the top of their
Yeah.
head.
Yeah.
Like your Gramps was looking good. Your dad was like, man, you look just like Kyle.
Yep.
Vice versa, more or less.
Vice versa, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so take us further along after that. You got into it through midgets and stuff like that. Then I know you got into Legends cars and then eventually modifieds, but take us through that journey.
Yeah, I'll back up a little bit to the go-kart era
Okay.
because originally, like when I was in high school, the kids would like if I told them I like NASCAR, I was almost like it was, oh, you're a country dude, like because I went to high school in Highlands Ranch, and nobody liked racing there, so I kind of just not to get made fun of, I kind of liked like Formula One and like open wheel racing a lot
Right.
more, and I was a go-karter.
Yeah.
But once, like, I mean, we won a lot of stuff in go-karts locally and like the regional series in the mountain region. And we traveled all across the country doing the SCUSA series and whatnot. And we had some success. But like the next level of that, like I remember going to the Denver Grand Prix down
Mhm.
at the Pepsi Center
Yep.
and like trying to get a ride in like a Formula BMW or like the ladder system for formula cars, and
Yeah.
it was like crazy expensive. Like, and it's all rent a ride stuff. It's still that way today,
Yeah.
but it's like you spend hundreds of thousands of dollars. You don't own the car. You basically pay for crash damage in your hotel, and then it's like you don't own anything at the end of it, and you hope that you can get a sponsor to get to the next level.
Mhm.
And then it was like you either got a Star Mazda or a Formula BMW. And then if you're following the Champ Car series around, it would have been like a Formula Mazda, I think, and like a Formula Atlantic. And then you went up the ladder that way. And that's what I really wanted to do.
Yeah.
But it was like my dad and me had to have that conversation. Like, that's not a good financial way to go. So he was like, I'd rather buy like a circle track car that we own.
Yeah.
I can work on it and we can race here. And we have a track real close by, which is CNS. So that's why we went that way. And then over time, I learned to love circle track racing because it's way more intense. Like on a road course, you get to be beside somebody for maybe 5 times out of the whole race where you pass somebody.
Mhm.
But in circle track, we're side by side the whole race. Like
Right.
sometimes it's like, and it's just everybody's squirrely. It's very intense, and
Mhm.
there's not very many straightaways to take a breath. So
Right.
it's like,
Oh, yeah.
it's very very intense, and I like that about it, the wheel to wheel action.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's awesome. Man, I didn't know any of that. That's crazy. The amount of money that you would have to put up. I mean, I know it's not any better. You look at NASCAR nowadays, right? A lot of those rides, you got to pay for them and have sponsorship backings and stuff. But,
Mhm.
20 years ago when you're first getting into it and other things, you know what I mean? Like it was a lot more accessible back then. But I can't even imagine what the numbers would be like today. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? To try and get into that. Holy crap. I mean,
yeah.
millions at
Start
that
moving
point.
out of your coder.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Throw that out here.
Uh, well, all right. So take us through your circle track journey. You started off in Legends, right?
Yeah, no, and sprint cars and midgets.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
right.
and then
Sprint cars
we
midget.
raced those dirt and asphalt for a while. I was not good at dirt, surprisingly. Never got a lot of experience in it. I've probably only raced like I don't know 3 or 4 dirt races,
Really?
Yeah, the sprint car, that one was it was a good experience, but we wrecked a car. Like I got lapped and the leader just totally wiped the left front tire off the car. And that's like your only front brake on the sprint car, and it just had no brakes at that point. Straight in the wall, flipped it off the side, it went up the banking and rolled down. Like there
Oh.
was no fence on the wall. So flipped it out of the track, I guess. So it was like, oh, that was a quick lived sprint car career.
Yeah, no shit.
And then we fixed that one up and made it an asphalt car to go race at CNS.
Yeah.
And I really liked that. Like as soon as I got in a sprint car at CNS and learned you don't need brakes or anything, like
Yeah.
just drove it with the gas. It was like I was passing guys on the outside. And it was so much fun to drive with a wing. So I
Mhm.
learned that like driving with a wing is the greatest thing on earth, pretty much.
I mean, that's what we keep hearing. You talk to a lot of like those sprint car guys and just local people that experience it, like the King of the Wing event every year. And that's what everybody says. I mean, I was talking to Chris Mueller here about it not too long ago. He's like, I can never go back into a different car. Like he's like, it's just so intense that once you experience that, there's nothing like it. I mean, yeah, that's awesome. I mean, so back then, was there any sort of like series or in just for the sprint cars itself, like King of the Wing? Because I don't remember.
So the sprint cars we raced here were dirt sprint cars. Like they were the ASCS 360 sprint cars that they were torsion bar cars. They raced on dirt. Rick Lowry put on that. Like he kind of helped make that class. The guy who owned USA Performance, and Nick Haygood, his stepson. And we had a good traveling series for dirt. That's what attracted me to it. But then they were like, we're going to do an asphalt series. And they let you run like basically the super modified tires on there.
Yeah.
And they were really fast. I mean, they were faster than the super mods because you have like what are they, 1,600-pound car where the super mods were like 1,850. So they were fat, like really light and fast. And then they had probably 15 to 20 right off the bat. So it was a good class at CNS.
Damn. Yeah, that was like that time period where we weren't there as much. So it's good to hear those stories about, that era or more or less. But shit,
Yeah.
20 of them things. I mean, I know, comparison to like what the King of the Wing show is now, to see that on like a consistent basis would just be fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make sprint cars at asphalt track great again.
Yeah.
And put Kyle Ray on them.
I mean, I think isn't the Mike Hathaway, he's trying to do that right now.
Yeah, with the wingless stuff.
You're doing it at a couple of tracks, I think.
Yeah, I really hope that series gets up and going in the direction that they're kind of like planning on, because I mean, I love watching them. I mean, that much horsepower and just the way they put it down, it's awesome. I mean, they put on such good shows that, I'm all the best to them for sure, because I love that car in that series. Like it's just awesome. Even on the dirt side of things, like I follow the World Outlaws and all that stuff just as closely as I do the asphalt stuff. And I mean, it's just incredible what those guys can do.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
But continue on.
So about that time was like we had to stop racing actually because 2008 the housing the economy crashed, and like my dad's company Stony Creek, they do strictly new houses, like flat work. So it was like really tough times for us. That's actually when I stopped working for him, was around that time, because he didn't have enough work to keep everybody going. He did survive it, which is awesome. He stuck through there and they're still going today. But that's when I got into plumbing and started working at Roto-Rooter, and I worked with your dad there. That's actually how me and him became good friends. And
remember that.
Then after that, Dad and I partnered from then on with the legend car stuff. So it was like I had some change in the game, and we bought the legend car, and it was like we learned so much from legend cars. It was
Yeah.
like we didn't know how to scale right, like because we were learning like blocking cars on a dirt car. Like with torsion bar cars, you put blocks under there that check your ride height. You
Mhm.
don't really, we never really scaled it, which we nowadays I would have if I knew what I know now.
Yeah.
But we learned so much from the legend cars, like scaling and just basic setup stuff. So our first year wasn't too great in one, but the second year we took the whole car apart, made sure everything was right, and from then on we were pretty fast in them. And I really enjoyed those because back then with the federal tires and the sealed motors, they were actually more affordable than like racing a go-kart. In the level I was racing go-karts, you didn't need new tires all the time.
Mhm.
Like your motor would go all season. It was a really good class, and that's probably why they had so many, like
Yeah.
30 cars every night.
Yeah. And how much of that era of racing do you equate to your development? Do you know what I mean? Because you hear about the Legends cars and how hard they are to drive. I mean, I've never got to experience one, neither has Jake, but
I think
you know what I mean? Like in comparison, do you think it made you a much better driver overall?
Um, Maybe a better modified driver, because a modified is similar to a legend car in the fact that um, you have to drive it smart, where you're not killing tires, you're keeping it straight, you're thinking about the long run of the race.
Hmm.
The like legend car tires, they just get hot and they just get pissed off and the cars slow down. And the
Yeah.
modified's similar in that way.
Yep.
Where, to be honest with you, that's not my favorite type of car. I like cars with big tires, big wings, and you're really like pushing your mental capacity to drive it like further than you'd ever imagine.
Right.
And that's why I like sprint cars, super mods. Super late models are somewhat like that when the tires are good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's good though to learn every discipline.
Yeah.
I think it's like really important to be able to adapt to a car because drivers who can do that, like they might have a bad setup. And if they're going to overcome that, during that race, you just have to deal with it, and a
Right.
driver that can adapt can do that.
Right. That's a good point. That's a very good point.
Don't you still own the speed record for super modified?
No, I think all the track records I had got wiped out when they paved the track.
So I remember one of the nights we went out and you were racing the super mods. They clocked you at like an average of like 104 or 105 or something like that around the track. It's just like, holy shit, that's fast.
Yeah, yeah, it's fast. I mean, I'm sure we could go faster now because the track's a little smoother on the
Yeah.
top side,
Mhm.
but it's just a matter of like getting that thing out and
Yeah.
going through all the lines on it, because when you run methanol, you have all those lines. It's like you just got to replace them when they get that old.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
That
So
was a
okay,
sweet looking car.
so tell us a little bit about your successes in the Legends cars.
Yeah, in the legend car, I think we won the traveling series championship. Like 2 years or 3 years. I don't know how many years it was, but that was the RMLRA. Like
Mhm.
we raced Gearing, Cheyenne, Pueblo, or I-25, and CNS was that series. Uh, that was good. I never won the CNS championship though. Clegg used to beat me every year in that. I get second, like I think 3 times. You know, he's so good at that track and legends. He's
Yeah.
like he's a veteran or Hall of Famer, if you want to call it that.
So don't get his head too big just yet.
I got to give him credit, man.
Oh, I
Yeah.
know. You got to give him credit where credit's due.
Yeah.
Kyle's a good guy.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So after doing that, that got some attention from other people at CNS, and that's how I started driving Jack Star's Mod Coupe.
Hmm.
For him, like Dad and I worked on the car, and they provided it, so it was kind of a shared ride with them. I think we provided the engine in that car, which was a killer engine built by Bruce, and we we just like, I mean, that class was fun with the wing and all, but the competition was a little bit less. The biggest competition in that I learned was racing Chris Mueller. I mean, me and him have had some battles at CNS, but I always like Chris because he's a fabricator. Like he thinks like we do, like that wing looks this way, or he just, his cars are really nice.
Yeah.
And so I always liked guys who race open wheel too, because that's what I really like.
Yeah.
But and he raced stock cars, and then he went to open wheel, which is pretty cool. I like how he chose that.
Yeah. 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 He's one of those guys. I mean, just super smart, right? Like you can sit there for a 30-minute conversation and walk away like, oh shit, I learned something. You know what I mean?
Should have my notebook or my phone out recording it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But that's awesome. So then you won a championship in the coupe, right?
Yeah, I think we won. I think we won the CNS points there. Yeah, I mean, me and Chris was like lapped the whole field in that race, though. It wasn't the best show for the track, but it was fun racing with him at those speeds, with the car that was, because those coupes, they're some of them are dangerous, I would say. I mean, mine even was quite dangerous. It had a birdcage 4-link on the back with a torque arm on it, and on the D cell for the torque arm, it would literally just slam onto a bar under my seat, and it would, like, when your pinion unwound, it would just slam it down. Eventually, it just snapped. So it broke the torque arm going into the entry of turn 3, and the torque arm pogo stick directly into the asphalt and lift the whole car off the ground.
I
And
remember.
when you're running a torque arm, you don't have a third link, a top link on there. So that's all that keeps the rear end from flipping. So it flipped around, ripped through the fuel cell, everything, while leading a race. Yes.
Oh, shit.
Because it
Yeah.
took a
So
big chunk out of the track, right? They had to red flag it for like a little while.
yeah, and Jim was out there putting like concrete or like quick bags of concrete in the hole. Got the race started, man.
Oh, that's funny. All Stony Creek concrete.
Yeah. Oh, that's wild.
Wow.
I didn't know that about those cars. I mean, I've only seen pictures of them, ever since they've gone away with that series. You know what I mean? Like I've never got to take a look at one up close before, but that's wild.
Yeah, they're kind of like, in my opinion, they're kind of like home. Well, they're, you know what they are, right? They're like the lakeside modifieds that they try to keep kind of vintage style. But they're really like home built sprint cars, is what they kind of are.
Yeah.
Wow. What motor did you run in that thing?
The motor, it was just a small block Chevy. They had to be carbureted, but they didn't have like any rules for size of carburetor or whatnot. It was a wet sump, steel block. I think they had to have steel heads on them too and flat tap it. So that kind of limited the lift or whatever. The cool thing was they had the super late model tires on them, and they were like the soft ones, like the 30-35s. I think they were like the left side ones all the way around.
Oh shit.
So they had a lot of grip. Yeah, they were like 15-2 or 15-3 is what we ran in that thing.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Were you flat footing it?
No, but it was fast. Yeah.
It's close. Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, that's wicked.
Scott Bremkamp's watching right now, and he said that hole was deep. Kyle found the clay. That's how deep it went.
Yeah,
Damn,
8 inches of asphalt there.
Yeah, that's a lot. Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
So
Okay.
yeah, anyways, after that we started building a super mod, and that's been always my dream. Like ever since I started working as plumbing, I was saving up to buy a super mod. That was like my goal, was, to get a super mod and race that thing, because I watch them and I always knew I would be good in one of those.
Yeah.
You know, just because I love the sprint car with the wing. So and yeah, Harold Evans. I don't know if you guys remember Harold.
Oh yeah.
He drove with my grandpa, and he told him one time like, you can't just get out of a legend car and get in one of these, you know. So I kind of wanted to prove him wrong, you know. So those legend car drivers aren't, you know, you put them in there, they'll perform if they're not scared of it, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Just the increase in speed is really because the grip is there, right? Like in those things, it's like driving a go-kart, right?
Yeah, it's like you just keep up momentum and you have all the grip you want. So
Yeah.
it's
Oof.
yeah.
Yeah. Man, it would be fun to drive one of those one
Yeah.
time just to experience. That would be it for me, right? I wouldn't want to go to a race or I just hot lap it and be done.
10
Just
laps.
to
I'm good.
say, got to experience it, and that was it.
Mhm.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, should we go get it fixed up, man? We can go testing it. I want to do that race in Vegas real bad with it.
Yeah.
But
We'll go with you.
I'll go with you. Heck
We'll,
yeah.
we'll go with you. I think they're still taking the modifieds back there. So I mean, we've had conversations. I know that they announced like a new touring series down in California and between California and Vegas for modifieds since the SRL is kind of going away. And that's supposed to be like their championship race is like the open wheel showdown again. So I think it's like $7,000 to win for the modifieds, but I know it's like 15 or 20 for the super mods.
wow.
So
Yeah.
Pretty high.
you want to go? We'll go.
Yeah.
I'll go watch.
Yeah.
That'd be badass.
Yeah. I don't think they have any rules either. Maybe just like a tire rule for the super mods.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
know
that's
because they do
Chris-
some
Chris
wicked
went out
shit.
there.
Yeah, they do some wicked stuff with their cars. Like just looking at watching them on TV, you know what I mean? Like there's some cool shit that those guys are doing.
Mhm.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean,
With,
shit.
and with the Kyle Ray brain, I'm sure we can come up with some real good stuff to get you real fast.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm thinking like full ground effects, man. Skirts dragging the track. You know, it looked like a 1985 Formula One car, but with the motor hanging out the side.
Right.
Yeah. Let's get
Hey,
you one.
we got some work to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so you experienced the super modified, and I know you traveled in that car. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. Around that time, I also got working with the Master Chief, as you guys call him, Mike Hunter,
Mhm.
and Gary Higgs, and I was driving Mike's Grand American too around that time too. He gave me a shot at it,
Mhm.
and we did great in that car. We ended up building another car, you know, and we traveled in that. We went and traveled in the Super Mod too. We did one of the open comp shows. Actually did two of them. And those were really fun because there was no rules. Like
Yeah.
you literally show up, people don't look at your car and go, "Oh, look, that car's cheating," you know.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
go, "Oh man, that's a cool car." It's almost like you're at a car show, you know. People
Yeah.
come up and they're like proud of the work you put into it,
That's a
you
good
know.
idea. I might have to put that on my car.
Yeah.
Didn't you go up to Idaho with that thing?
Yeah, we went to Meridian, Idaho, and that's a real small track, but it was still, I mean, I think it was like almost 10-second lap times in that thing. It was crazy.
Jesus.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah, it was fast.
you had GoPro of inside the car, and you were just winging around people on the outside.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, that's one of the things with those open comps because you get some cars and they're like 3 seconds a lap slower than you. So it's like who gets that's actually how I lost that race, I think, because I got stuck behind two cars that were side by side and I was like figuring out who's gonna get like in line and I think Brian Wharf just drove around me, drove right up the middle of both of them and took the lead. It's like, holy crap. I didn't even have time to even take a breath and that was done. You know, it's like, what happened? But yeah, that dude was fast, man. He won a lot of those open comp races. So there's some good cars, especially in Vegas now. There's even more fast cars,
Yeah.
which is cool.
I
Yeah.
think we had what 20, like around 20 cars show up for the open comp this last year,
Something like that.
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. There's
So
quite a few. I
yeah.
mean, you know, it seems like it's gaining more traction. I know there's still quite a few of them out on the East Coast. You know, they still do a lot with the super modifieds and whatnot out there. But hopefully, you know what I mean? Like as this open wheel showdown show gains more traction, that more of them will travel back this way and create even a bigger aura around that whole event. But
Yeah.
did you
Be
ever
cool.
go ahead?
It'd be, sorry, it'd be cool if they got one of those races at CNS because it's more in the middle,
Right.
of the country. That would be awesome
That
because
would-
those East Coast cars that run at Oswego, they run like they have like 25 cars every race. It's like their main show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why it kind of just faded. You know, I mean, it used to be on the schedule at least once a year, but at minimum, right? But I don't know why it just faded out. It fizzled, or I don't know if there's not enough cars or what. But
I could tell you why. It's because everybody's complaining about rules, man.
yeah,
Mhm.
That's why those open comp races are fun. You get a
Yeah.
lot of people there and nobody's complaining. But yeah, they had a lot of disagreements about rules in the ERA. And then I think it just went pissed off the track so bad that they were, they just said it's not worth it, which is a shame because fans, like they love those cars. Like
Oh, yeah.
everybody loves them.
Oh, I
Oh,
love
yeah.
them. Absolutely love them. I mean, that's one you circled every single year. You know what I mean? Like, and you still see it, like when they announce the track schedule, right? Like you'll still see a number of fans go, "Where's the super mods?"
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
And I agree. That's a shame. That's a shame. Screw it. Like,
You should get that thing ready and tell Jim that you want to do like a 10-lap hot laps in the intermission.
yeah.
Get everybody excited about it again.
Yeah, try to go break a track record like for an intermission thing. Like instead of that would be cool if they did like an exhibition like that, kind of like they do with the drift cars or whatever. Just get the like Mueller bring out his super mod and not really race them, but just do like a 4-lap hot lap or something
Right.
where you can go out and see who gets the fastest lap. Because just seeing them on the track, it's like people just love it.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
they're loud, you know what I mean? And just the speed they generate, it's fucking awesome.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
We're going to have to get it.
Have you seen the videos of those guys that take those like outlaw late models and put the big old like sideboard wings on them, and that's all they do is like try to break track records and shit?
Yeah.
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 I mean, same concept, right? Like that would be.
Yeah.
I'd pay money to watch just that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's you don't have to do anything to make that happen. Really, you just get the cars out there. Is pretty much it.
Right.
Put on a little intermission.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, so to continue on down your career path here, what made you guys decide to step up to the super late models?
Dad really wanted to race them. Like he really, really wanted to race those. Like, and at that time was like it's kind of the time frame when Ursetta was winning. Like pretty much him or Bruce, and it was they had a strong field back then. It was a weekly show. They'd have at least 20 cars every week, so and it was pretty cool. And I always wanted to race against like Darren and Chris Eggleston and those guys, because I had grown up there watching them, and they all got into those type of cars way before me. So I was always like, yeah, those look like a fun race car where you're really like side by side. So he wanted to get into that, and we went and bought a Port City similar to what was winning out there at that time, and I was fast right away in it. It was just kind of the beginning of bump stops, and bump springs, and just if you could get it right, you could do good.
Yeah. I mean, So I think it was what was it 15 or 16? Didn't you win the Challenge Cup?
I think that was 16. Yeah. So in 15 was the first year I drove one of those, and
Right.
we were racing a lot of different classes still, so
Yeah.
it was kind of hard to focus on just one. But in 16, I won quite a bit of races. I think that's when we won the most races. I think Jake, you were on my pit crew that year, and
I was.
Chuck.
You were talking that you wanted to do the modified, super modified, and the super late model all in one night. And your dad's like, no, not gonna happen.
Yeah. Yes. Younger days back then.
Is that still an ambition for you?
I mean, I'll do it. It's a matter of getting them ready. You know, it's not
Yeah.
the driving them that's the hard part. It's getting
Yeah.
all that stuff to the track and
Mhm.
having a good piece in 3 different divisions. It's so much work because we
Mhm.
all work. You know, we all have jobs.
Oh, yeah.
There's
was a
that
fun
part
year,
of it. Dang it.
Yeah.
It was a fun year helping you guys out. I like that. Got us into it.
It's
Yeah.
true. That was pretty much the time period where it kind of woke Jake up more or less. Like, I want to go racing.
Mhm.
And then yeah, that's when he bought the go-kart and started doing all that deal. And yeah, and we were doing what Kersey days and all that together around
Yeah.
that time period. Yeah.
Yep.
God, that was
Is that what got you into it, Jake? Was the Kersey days when we went and did it that first time?
Heck yeah. That was fun. I remember my cousin brought his drone out, and you're like, "Oh, great! Just what we need—a yellow flag. Drone on the back straight. Drone down on the back straight."
yeah.
It was fun. But yeah, that's kind of what got us into it. Was that Kersey Days thing, and I mean, I had that tag cart and tried to do the IMI thing with that thing. It was just like, yeah, I was too heavy, and dudes were like 100 pounds soaking wet, running like Harley motors on their go karts, and it's like, yeah, I'm not made for this. So that's why when we went to the circle dirt clone carts.
Mhm.
So,
Yep.
but it all started because you got me into it. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, I know who your dad is.
Yeah.
He's got that in you a long time before me, man.
Oh yeah. Well, you created a monster.
That was pretty much it. Yeah, you created the monster that he is now. Yeah. But no, that was a fun time period because that's I mean, I hadn't been back to the racetrack in probably 10 years or so. Was right around it was I think it was about 2015 or 16 when you were racing is when we started going out consistently and watching and hanging out again, and that's what really kind of got me back into racing more or less and watching it more consistently and being involved in it it was right about 2015 when you were really competing in all the different levels, you know what I mean? Because you were traveling with the Lucas Oil guys that year, right?
Yeah, we raced a couple Lucas Oils. I think we went to Vegas. We went to Havasu a couple times. We went to Tucson. I never did one in Irwindale, but yeah, we traveled in those. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. I think your dad went to a couple of those road trips with us, and
Yeah.
Mike and Gary.
Havasu. Yeah, he talks about Havasu, going down to Havasu, and but you went to Irwindale in the super late, right?
Yeah. When after the first year of Super Late, we decided to go, or second year, we decided to go travel. So I went to Kern once, I went to Irwindale once, Tucson. That's we went to Washington to Evergreen Speedway
Right.
and got lapped by Preston, pretty bad. That guy's super fast there, man.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, like he's like a second a lap faster than the whole field. It was like, whoa, like all that aero stuff he does to his car really works at that track because it's
Yeah.
like it's a big track. It's like feels like it's like a 5/8 mile track, and you can really feel the downforce from the body. You know.
No shit.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like that track. We would have done better at that one, but we read the rules wrong. Like I guess they have like a tour legal. Back then we were racing 9-to-1s, and we brought the wrong carburetor. Like CNS makes you run with the boosters in the carburetor, and there they let you take them out, and it was, I don't know, for a 9-to-1, I think it added like 50 horsepower or something. So here we are at this big track, and we're down on horsepower, but
Oh, shit.
you learn, we
Yeah.
didn't know until we showed up. It's like, what do you do now?
Yeah. Quick, go on Amazon.
Yeah. Give me a VDL carburetor, air meld in,
Oh my
That's
God.
awesome. I mean, out of all those tracks that you went to, what was your favorite?
Oh, oh, that's a good question, man. I have to think about that.
Yeah.
Obviously not the
I mean,
dirt.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, not dirt track. I don't know, really. I don't know what my favorite track is. Just haven't really thought about that. I mean, it's really more or less like favorite cars. I mean, Irwindale's a pretty cool track. It's sad that they closed that thing because
Yeah.
that track you run on the outside. I like tracks like that. Like in Tucson, you run on the outside.
Mhm.
I like how they have multiple lanes because it makes it well, it makes it fun for the spotter, that's for sure. Because he, he's like, is he clear? Is he not clear? So it
Right.
gave when Mike was spotting for me, it gave him something to do. That's for sure.
Oh,
Yeah. Keep that old man on his toes.
right.
Yeah. But yeah, they I mean those tracks are fun. There was this track in Salt Lake City. I forget what it was called, but that was a really fun track. We raced a super mod there. And it was like CNS in Vegas kind of size wise, but it was a pretty fast track with a wing.
Was
It
it?
had a little bit of banking to it, right?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
forgot what that track was called. It was cool. It had like grandstands and grandstands on the other side of the grandstands, and those ones went to a drag track, like a drag circuit on the other side. So
Oh,
you could
wow.
literally like walk up to the top and look at two tracks at the same time.
Oh, that's
Oh,
pretty
shit.
badass.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know
Yeah,
they
I bet Salt Lake
closed
City
that
closed.
one at like maybe it was 2020, 2021, something like that. They
That was
closed
a
that.
while
Now
ago.
it's all gone and it's warehouses over top
Yeah,
of where
I
the
think
track
I think
was.
when Spears took over Lucas Oil Series, I think is when it closed.
Something
Yeah.
like
Whenever that was.
yeah. I'm totally drawing a blank with you. I have the name of that place. I can see it in my mind too because I've watched so many YouTube videos of like the old Lucas Oil days and when they used to circuit there and in Vegas and all that stuff before the bull ring it is now, right? God, I'm totally drawing a blank, but it looked like a badass little track. But there in turn, like back then, you had a lot more options than there is like nowadays. It seems like.
Yeah, yeah, we're very fortunate and to
Yeah.
have a track so close to us,
Yeah.
and a track of that size that gets that many fans. It's
Mm.
we're very fortunate to still have that in this day,
Yeah.
because it's the day and age where they're closing down everywhere.
I know it's crazy.
Master Chief says Rocky Mountain Speedway.
Yeah, Rocky Mountain Speedway, that was a fun one.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So well,
I wish it would still be open. Go try that track out. That'd be fun.
it would. It's not too far. Well, it was not too far,
Yeah.
so it made travel easy.
Yeah.
But anyways, well, right on. So to continue on down the road, so you built a modified in it was 17, right? Like you guys built your own in a sense.
Yeah, we built that car. We designed it ourselves, built it. It was 18 actually, I think, and then we were gonna race Lucas Oil and we ended up just racing at CNS. We raced a couple Lucas Oil races with it, and then we decided just to race here and focus on the championship, which we won the championship at CNS that year.
Yeah.
It was the only year we ever won a modified one. But yeah, it's exciting to design something and build it like that. It's a lot of fun. So I
Yeah.
know Gary and Mike had a lot of fun with that, with my dad and everything.
Yeah.
And yeah, I still have pictures of the whole process of that. You guys have seen them. I have them hung on the wall, and that was pretty exciting. I'd like to do that with a super late model. That's one of my goals, but it's the geometry and whatnot is so hard unless you just copy another car.
Yeah.
Right. And at that point, it's time more or less than anything else.
Yeah.
Man, that modified was wicked looking. The way
It
you guys
was
did
cool
the body
looking.
and the color of it too. I love your color scheme on that thing. That thing was beautiful.
Yeah.
Bright orange.
Mhm.
So tell us about that. What's with the bright orange? Like, why orange? That seems to be synonymous with you.
I don't know, man. It's my favorite color. I think maybe it was something to do with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles back in the day. I liked,
Michelangelo.
yeah, Michelangelo. Yep.
Okay. We're learning something new about Kyle Ray's a Michelangelo fan.
There you go.
Yeah.
And 58, where'd that come from?
Oh, that was my number in football.
Really?
Yep. Yep.
Oh, I didn't know
The
that.
center?
Yep. Number 58. I don't have a reason why I picked that number for football, but it was long before Von Miller had it, you know?
You made it famous, not him, right?
Yeah. I don't know, man. That's a good number. So I just stick with what's good. I like the way it looks on the car, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh
That's
yeah.
awesome. So then you took a little bit of a break. Obviously, you started your own company. And what brought you to that more or less too? Because I know there was a lot of people, that followed you very closely throughout your entire career. And then, not to say it, but one day you were just, that was it. I was done. And then, but give kind of a little bit of a background to some of that decision making of why you did that.
Well, it spurred to actually like be able to race. I mean, I'm a racer, you know, so like that's all I really want to do.
Mhm.
But it's like, I can't, I have to be able to afford it. So I thought,
Yeah.
starting a company would be the way you do that, and working hard and then being able to afford it going forward. And I literally like dedicated all this time into it. Like I couldn't do both. Like I'm a plumber, like emergency drain cleaning,
Mhm.
all that stuff. So I mean, there was nights when I was racing when my company first started, where I had my van at the track, and I literally would go to like a bar after the race and unclog like their kitchen, like
Oh
at
shit.
12 o'clock, because they're a good customer of mine, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is just, I mean, I was in my late 20s at that time, so it was okay.
Yeah.
But I just can't do that all the time, you know?
Yeah.
Holy
So,
shit.
That's
Like, hold
dedication
on, I
right
just
there.
won a race for the night. I'm gonna come unclog your shit. That's
yeah.
crazy. Holy
Yeah.
crap.
And then it grew the company from just me to right now we have 24 guys, you know.
Nice.
We've grown it a lot, and it's getting to that point where I can kind of manage things and not do calls myself anymore, which helps because then I could come home, work on the cars and whatnot. But it's still in the fragile state, you know, where it's not like it's not this huge company or anything. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
still just want to make sure that work is good before I, go on a racing trip and try to go to all those cool races like Jace Hansen, like what he's doing. That's like my dream for Super Late Models. Go to all those big races
Oh
and
yeah.
go be able to do that. That would be awesome if I could
Yeah.
do that one day.
Shoot. Near future. I mean, it seems like that, especially that series, right? Like the Cars tour now, it's picking up a lot of momentum, um, good financial backing. So, yeah, I mean, who knows? It's good to see that there's more options now, right? Like it's something that's at least hopefully going to be sustainable for the foreseeable future. So, I
Mhm.
mean, who knows? I mean, like I said, we'll come pit crew for you.
Yeah, that'll be fun, man. It's coming soon. Just keep going what I'm doing now, and we'll all get to go on a fun racing trip here soon. That'll
Yeah.
be good.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's looking forward to it.
Just kind of stretch out here. Not to hit anything, or spoil anything. There's
Jake's
a
good
reason
at
I wore this
making
shirt
hints.
tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys want to go race the Midwest Modifieds? I see that shirt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
get you
Well,
out of hot shoe.
it's coming along, man. I
Yeah,
see the modified there.
she's looking good. Is
That
that
body is legal for Midwest Modifieds too. That's
Oh,
our
good.
goal, is to make it legal for both series.
Good. Was that Gary in the background a little bit ago?
Yeah, we're starting to build the nose on that thing, and he was over there bending some metal, but I think he left. I should have had him say hi, but he didn't. He didn't want to really be on the podcast. I asked.
We've been trying to ask him to get on here, and because I remember when we went down to Tucson a couple years ago, and just the short-lived time of driving home with him and the stories he told, he had me cracking up laughing with everything at what was it?
Furniture Row.
Yeah, Furniture Row Racing. Oh my God, yeah. Advocate for us, Kyle. We need to get him on the show too.
I'll keep trying, man, because he's got a lot of cool stories, like back in his midget career and racing dirt and racing. And he'll tell you the story about how like, the car flipped and he drove under the car and all kinds of cool stories.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it'll be hard though. You might have to, tie him to a chair or something to
Hey,
get him
time
on.
to get there. A microphone in his face.
Well, so we did have a question. I mean, we haven't really kicked off like our, ask the fans questions or whatnot, but there is one here that somebody asked, and they want to know, will you be racing this year? And obviously, you kind of answered that question, but I guess more or less get a little bit more detailed about what your plan is.
Yeah. So my plan right now is to race the modified when we're ready at CNS, and I'm trying to keep it real simple. I don't want to race like multiple, go for a championship or anything like that, because it just makes it more stressful. You have deadlines and whatnot, and then my goal is to try it out at CNS, see if it's fun again. Because last year for me at CNS, I didn't have much fun.
Yeah.
So see if it's fun, see if the new track owner and that brings some life to the track. See if this, it just makes it fun again. And if it's not, I want to go race the Midwest modified race. Hopefully with you guys if you get your stuff ready, but yeah, at least one of them, maybe not the whole thing or whatnot, but at least go have fun and then and see what we do with that. And then if that's not fun for whatever reason, we'll go get the super mod ready and go to Vegas in November. And I know that's going to be fun. Like there's no way that's not fun unless the truck breaks down on the way there.
Don't even just put that in the air. Don't even.
Don't do that.
We had to happen going down to Tucson, remember? Let's not do that.
Oh God, that
But
was
we're there, man. We'll be there with you.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, the Midwest guys, they're a lot of fun. Like those guys, they're prepared, they're dedicated to their craft, but I mean, how do I put this? Like it's just a different vibe. You know what I mean? Like the vibe there is just super laid back, and everybody comes up and talks to you, and you know what I mean? Like they're super gracious. And I mean, shoot, we had 4 or 5 people that were just willing to give up their garage while we were there. They were like, hey, if you need to do anything to the car, set it up, whatever, I'm just down the street, come on over and we'll drink beers and I'll give you some setup tips and shit. I mean, it's just nothing against like anybody local here, right? But it's just a different atmosphere.
It's that Midwest politeness mentality.
Yeah, that mentality that they have back there, it's incredible. I mean, yeah, I'm excited to go out there this year. Whether I drive or not, that's a different story. But either way, it's just cool to go experience that type of racing. You know what I mean? So different, but it's fun. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But anywho,
so on the Midwest Modified Tour, which besides stretch it out there, besides that one, which track would you love to do on? Because they went down to a 5-race schedule. So what are the 5 races would you want to hit?
I mean, isn't the Hot Shoe like their main, like their Super Bowl race or whatever? The
Hot Shoe is not a Midwest Modified race, but they kind of go by their rules a little bit. I mean, pretty much a lot of the tracks around in that area run a similar rule book to the Midwest Modified Tour. But Yeah, that's just put on by Owasso Speedway, but the Midwest Modified Tour runs like 2 weeks before that. They call that the prelude to the Hot Shoe. So basically, if you go out there for that one, that's $5,000. You win that one, and then you go off and 2 weeks later win that one. That's $15,000 in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
A lot of money.
Yeah.
A lot of money.
As long as it's fun, man. That's my
Mhm.
whole thing.
Yeah.
Owasso was fun. That track and everybody how they treated us and Rex Wheeler there. Oh man, he was awesome. He made sure that you felt welcomed and had a good time. Like
Yeah.
he made sure of it. So that was
I
a lot of
mean,
fun.
fun story, right? Like we're leaving we're leaving Birch Run the morning of the Owasso, like just local race, right? And we're filling up in the gas station. Just stopped, filling up the trucks, whatever, grabbing a bite to eat, getting the ice for the day, whatever. And there's this Jeep that comes rolling up into the gas station, and they're looking at the trailers and stuff. And dude jumps out in sandals and like surfer shirt, and he's like, you guys going to Owasso tonight?" Like, "Yeah." And then he kind of looks at me and Jake, and he goes, what kind of cars you guys got in there? We're like, "We got modifieds." "Oh, can I see them?" Like, open up the door. He goes, "You're those dudes from Colorado." I'm like, "How the fuck did you know?"
Yeah. Only been here like 3 days.
Yeah. It's like, "You're those dudes from Colorado." It was like, well, you know what I mean? So that it goes to show you, right? Like even the fans get super into it. And I mean,
Mm-hmm.
just little small towns that you go and pass through, like everybody knows who you are. I mean, shit,
Mm-hmm.
we didn't make no impact. It's not like we went and blew everybody's doors off or anything. You know what I mean? Like we
I
were,
don't know. You and that B main.
well, that's still a B main, but you know what I mean? Like, but everybody just involved in it, and you know what I mean? Like everybody knows racing back there, and it's just a cool atmosphere to be to go to those places, and then it's a different appreciation, more or less. So,
In
but
a
Yeah.
long way of saying it, Kyle Ray's gonna have fun.
very much.
Yeah. There you go.
Well, I know we're excited. That's for sure. Excited to
Mm-hmm.
have you back at the track. I know you had that misfortune last year with the modified and the super late model, but it'll be good to have your ass back out there competing with us.
Yeah. Can't wait to see Jake's new car, man.
Mm-hmm. I can't wait to get it out.
Yeah.
Get her done.
We don't have a whole lot to do with it though, thankfully. Like it
A
came,
little bit of electrical left and pop in a motor and hook
away we
everything
go.
up.
Away we go. And they got to make it look pretty. I don't know if we can compete with your ride, but
Yeah. Right.
Just keep working on it, man. You'll
I
get
know.
it. You just-
I know
I
his
should know to be able to make that look good. I'm a
I
designer
was
by
gonna say,
trade, right?
he's the designer of our cars, so I just sit in it and drive. Work on it a little
Nice.
bit, you know.
A little bit, a little bit. All right. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna open it up to like the people watching. So everybody that's out there, feel free right now. Start popping in your questions. I know there was a couple earlier on in the show that we haven't asked yet, so we'll kind of start with those, and we'll kind of go down the list, and then just shoot them to you, and you just give your answer. So, this one, it comes from Scott. Did you take part in the Red Bull driver search at Denver Indoor Kart Racing back in the early 2000s?
No, sir. No. Those though I was always a bigger dude. Not like a bigger dude, but those indoor kart races, like those kids just kill you in those, man. I wouldn't put myself in that situation, get beat by 80-pound kid. But no, I never tried it. But yeah, there was a lot of people that Red Bull took them to the top. I know, like Scott Speed, AJ Allmendinger, those guys, they were carters when I was a carter, and look where they went. AJ Allmendinger's still killing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I heard there was a guy, I can't remember who his name is, but I was up at Vandermeer a couple years back and just got to chatting, and I think the guy had a picture of you um, up on the wall, and I was like, "Oh, hey, that's Kyle Ray. I know him." He's like, "Oh man, Kyle Ray's probably one of the best go-kart racers I've ever seen in my entire life. He's like, that guy, he put a new meaning on like how you take a turn. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, let's just say that guy would put his body into everything to get that car to turn and get so fast. He would take his shirt off and his whole body would be black and blue from bruises from the seat because he's just yanking that cart back around with his body more than just turning the steering wheel. It's like, oh, all right, something.
Okay, how much truth is there to that? Were you black and blue from your kart days?
Actually, yeah, I used to never wear one of those rib tech things. And I had one time I bruised my ribs so bad I couldn't race. It was like nowadays, like, why did I do that? Like those rib vest things were just coming out at that time, and it's like, yeah. But yeah, man, it used to swell up big time on the go-karts on your rib cage.
Yeah.
Because go-karts are a lot like motorcycles, like motorcycle racing. Your body really affects how it handles.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty cool. You're one with the car when you're in a go-kart,
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
man, I don't know how you did that, because I remember doing that when we were younger and being in like those carts, and that was like a necessity. Shit.
Oh yeah, when those came out, Dad was like, "We're getting those."
Like, yes.
Mhm.
Yes. Okay, another question here. I think this is Marky Bremkamp. So he says he sees you on iRacing, and you've actually raced with him, but do you use that as a practice tool for your real racing?
I'd like to. I'm pretty new with iRacing. I've only I just got it last summer, and I did that race that they put on like last Friday or the Friday before. That was my first like race I got invited to, and Mark's good, man. He was up front leading that. I don't know. I got too many incident points or whatever. I didn't even make it to halfway. I got black flagged.
So there's the running joke of just taking Mark Bremkamp out. So you'll just have to one of these times just kind of give him a little right hook.
Dump him.
Yeah. We love you, Marky.
Oh, that's hilarious. This one comes from Melly McMullen. She wants to know, what is your favorite memory of racing?
It cut out there. What was the question?
Oh,
Favorite
sorry.
memory?
Yeah, favorite memory. I'll put it up on screen here.
One of the favorite memories, probably just winning a race and coming off and going to tech and just seeing my dad, just so happy. Like probably a couple of our first super late model wins, like maybe the first one at CNS. Like he was just like, because he put so much time into those cars, and the super late models are just such an achievement to win one of those races. It feels like even if it's just a CNS one, to us, that's a big deal. Like to beat those guys, because there's some good competition there. So just seeing his face like so happy, after a race. Yeah.
In comparison to the one, it wasn't last year, but it was the year before when you got back into it and you won. Was it your second night out? I think it was. Right. And coming into the pits there, and Gary was just,
oh yeah,
like straight tears.
It makes a grown man cry seeing that guy cry.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, same thing. I mean, Gary puts so much effort into our racing, and it's like when you win a race like that, it's just like makes it worth it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you guys feel the same way when you win a race. You know the feeling.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, and I guess to kind of back up, I guess quite a bit. How did you and Gary like meet? How did that whole relationship start there? Because I've never known that one.
So I believe so. Mike Hunter had the modified, the Grand American, and they wanted me to drive it. And Gary had drove it like right before that. So that modified was at Gary's house, and at my dad's house, because that was before I had the shop, my own shop. We had the mod coupe, the super mod, and I think like a super late model. So we didn't have room. So that it was at Gary's house. And Gary just wanted to, those guys love modifieds. Like they love modifieds. So that was kind of their little team. And I was just driving for them. And then, Gary he's like, to me, he's like I was telling you about Chris Mueller. I look up to like Gary because he's a fabricator. Like he thinks about things and the same way I do, but he's so talented in building it. And that's where it's like I love learning from people like that,
Yeah.
you know. So yeah, that's kind of how I met Gary. And then now it's like he's my crew chief, everything, you know. Like I can't do it without Gary right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like he's awesome to me.
Did you get him a cot yet to like get him a room like staged up in that shop? Because he's pretty much there 24/7. It seems like.
Hey, he's got his own key. If he wants to sleep in the toter room, I mean, he did bring his RV over here last year, so I didn't know if he was sleeping in the drive. I think he drove it home, but he don't live too far. But he's welcome to stay at my house if he wants to, you know.
When he's not on a cruise.
Yeah, he likes cruising. That's for sure.
I love Gary too, but when I heard that he loves going on cruises and will just randomly go on one, I'm like, you look at Gary and you're like, you like cruises? Like, just for some reason to me, it's like, it's just a weird concept to come think about that Gary's a cruise kind of guy. To me, he kind of looks like go sit up in a cabin in the woods
Yeah.
or next to a fire kind of guy, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. We have to get him on here so you guys can ask him why he
Yeah,
likes cruising so
Yeah, for
much.
sure.
I think he's been around the world a couple times now, so he's got a lot of stories with that too.
Sure.
Where you at, Gary? I'm in Mallorca. Wait, what the fuck?
I was in Vietnam the other day.
Yeah.
Girl loved me long time.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so we can't not have this show without asking this question. Biggest rivalry.
Biggest rivalry. I mean, there's always like one guy in every type of car I race that creates a rivalry. And it's like it makes it so much better to have that. Cause like I'm a competitor. I want to race door by door with you and beat you by a nose. You know, I don't want to just blow somebody's doors off. I mean, it makes the race easier, right?
Right.
But I can name a lot of them, like in karting. The very beginning when we raced Briggs and Stratton, there was like 5 horsepower Briggses at IMI. There's this kid named Chris Billings. And yeah, he was a rivalry. And then when we got into shifter karts, we had Jarrett Scarberry and Brandon Scarberry, and they were top dogs here in Colorado, and we raced with them. And then when we got into more pro shifters, it was like AJ Naud here in Colorado. He's still racing go karts to this day. I think he moved back to Indiana. His dad works on Ryan Rudolph's or Travis Rudolph's modified. His name is Bill.
Yep.
Yeah.
I met him.
And then when we went, like, I can't remember the pro tour rivalries we had because those people were from all over, you know. In go-karting. In legend cars, obviously you have Clegg and Eggleston and Danny Medina. I really wanted to be Danny Medina because I had watched him race forever and I always rooted for him. And I don't know how many times I'd be on the treadmill just like visualizing passing the 15 legend car when I was racing him. And I was like, because he was the man for
Yeah.
a long time and he still is.
Yeah.
But yeah, like he's a good racer. And and then when we got in mod coops, it was Mueller. Grand Americans was Mueller for a while too, back before you guys started doing it. He built one. And Ed's always been I don't know, Ed, I've never really had a rivalry with Ed. I'm probably afraid to have a rivalry with Ed. Because you know, you don't want to be on the bad side of Ed.
Yeah, exactly.
And
That's why you got to get on his good side, and he'll joke with you, and that way, he doesn't do anything to you.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. Super late models, like I mean, like the Yankees, like Brett or Bruce, and there's so many good drivers in the super late models. Darren Robertson and I have had some good races. over the years. And Mercedo, when he was racing them, like I really wanted to beat him. And same thing, I visualized like finally catching him one day and passing him. And yeah, just, I
Mhm.
was just look up to the guy who's faster than me, try to
Yeah,
be better.
Yeah.
I
Did
love
you ever have
being
any
in that
run-ins
racing.
when you were running like the Lucas Oil or the SRL back when it was you doing Kern County or anything like that? Was there anybody there that kind of stood out to you as like uber competition for you, like personally?
Um, no, not really, not because we didn't race the same people all the time. Like I never raced the whole series,
Yeah.
but it was always cool to. I mean, when we went to Kern that one time, Kyle Busch was there, and it was cool to get passed by him.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah. And Noah Gregson raced us one time in Tucson. Yeah. And we actually had a really good Chili Willy run that one time. I saved tires like crazy. And we started our push and I finished third, I think. And I was like just about to pass him. And I probably needed like 10 more laps to win the race, but
Oh,
just pushed too late. That was back when you had to save like a lot. So it
Yeah.
was
yeah,
like so that was fun, but I can't say they're rivalries. Like I don't know them personally or
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Tucson, man, that is such a cool racetrack. I mean, not to get back on that subject, but I mean, when I was fortunate enough to go, race down there, when you came down and helped us, um, that place is wicked. Like it's fast, but it is so abrasive. You know what I mean? Like it has such a different feel to it than here locally than what I was used to. So
Mhm.
I struggled. Like I struggled getting it down just because of that fact, right? But I mean, what was it like for you?
I mean, it's its own animal, right?
Yeah.
When we raced modifieds there, though, when we built that one we designed, that
Yeah.
was the first Lucas Oil race we went to in it, and we had this idea because there are 75 lap races, right? And we were running methanol in the car because you burn methanol off faster.
Mhm.
Like you burn more weight basically. So we had this huge fuel cell in there, running on methanol. And at the end of the race, I only had like 45% rear weight in the car after we scaled
Oh,
it. And we had like a 700 horsepower motor. It was like you couldn't even drive straight like on the at the end of that race. It was crazy. I think we finished like top 5 with it, but it was like when we got on the scales, I'm like, unless we can move the fuel cell to the middle of the car, this is not going to work
yeah,
like anymore. Like our balance is changing so much,
yeah.
you know.
Oh,
So
wow.
That's funny.
45% rear.
That's
Gee,
yeah,
crazy. I can't.
yeah,
Yeah, that car would be all over the place. I mean,
yeah.
Jesus. Yeah, that's a lot of fun. I mean, that's great. I mean, you've had a lot of experiences. You've gotten to experience some really cool places before. I mean, as far as bucket list items, I know you mentioned like going out and doing kind of like what Jace has talked about, but is there any particular racetracks like the Snowball or something like that you would want to be a part of in the super lates specifically?
Yeah, I'd like to do that. The suit that. I also have like Ethan Hunter races in the super late models.
Yep.
I really like what he's doing with like he built because I have a super late model I'm trying to sell, like basically just like give away to have do something else with that money. And I've thought about like making that into like a Trans Am 2 car, kind of like what he did and went to Pikes Peak with it.
Yeah.
Cause that is it's road course racing. It's like I don't know what we'd have to do that. I don't know how to set up a road course racing car, but I watch them on TV and I'm like, that is a manly car. Like, and they go to Laguna Seca and they go to all these like cool road courses. I'm
Yeah.
sure it costs a ton, but
yeah,
it's like if you could somehow make something like that happen, that would be awesome. Like just to race road course with a big old motor.
yeah. Oh, man.
Man, yeah, that'd be it's such a different animal, like going to like the road course style of racing. But I mean, is there like a huge weight difference? Like tires wise, I know they're different, but is there like, are they super light or are they pretty heavy?
I have no idea, man. But look up like a Trans Am, like a real Trans Am car. They
Right.
race them on Mav TV. Those things are huge tires, and they're like 900 horsepower, sequential transmissions, and I mean, it just looks like so much fun
Holy
to just drive one. Even if you just hot lapped it at like, out east at the road course track,
yeah.
it would be. I just do that all day and be happier than ever. Just driving that monster.
Oh, that's funny.
900 horsepower, man. I wouldn't even know. That'd be so much fun. That's crazy to think about that much. Like, well, what was it? Wasn't it Ken Block that put that car together? It was like 1,000 horsepower and did the
That
hill climb.
all-wheel drive Ford Mustang.
Yeah. Did you
Mhm.
ever watch that?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
the Jim Files, as he called it.
Yes.
Yeah, he went
Yeah.
all over the place, and he went to Pikes Peak,
Well, and he hot lapped it at I-25.
I-25 Speedway. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's crazy. So
Yeah.
something similar to that, more or less. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be cool. But I mean, yeah, would like to do the snowball derby. I don't know if I have the enough people to do that, but I'm sure you guys would like to go.
Oh,
I
you got
know.
you got two sitting here. You got one watching the show right now. So,
Yeah.
well,
Shit, we've
if
been
Dad's
going the last
watching,
couple years.
let's
I
say if
mean, just
Dad's
going to
watching, he'll
watch,
go.
so might as well
Yeah.
go to work.
Yeah. I guess it's just having the right expectation though. It would be like, we got to go there and learn and
Yeah.
try to finish the race. And that if we did that, I think we could win no matter what, as long as we prepare. But
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, talking to Michael Scott last year when he went down there for the first time, and that was his exact words, right? Like we had no expectation. It was just try to make the race and learn as much as you can about the
Mhm.
racetrack, like how guys do things, and take it all in more or less. And that's the cool part, right? Like that's, to me, that would be same idea, right? Just go down there. Doesn't matter where I finish. If you make the race, that would be the cherry on top, more or less. But
Mhm.
just go to have some fun. I mean, there's nothing like it. I mean,
Weeks
nothing
week
like it.
long of racing. I mean, what's better than that?
Yeah, it's intense. It's intense. You should just go down there with us just one time to even just watch it. Like
Yeah.
it's fucking cool. It's
Yeah,
way
I'd like to.
yeah.
Joe
So
Starr.
I'm sure Mike's watching. Get us another ticket.
Yeah. Well, remember Joe Starr had an extra ticket last year, so
Oh, that's
we
true.
we have to
Just
hit up
gonna
Joe
have to
Starr.
put your vacation time out for already. Let everybody know at the company that you're gonna be gone for a week,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and we'll go.
We're getting there, man. We're getting there. I got managers now helping me out. So
Hell yeah,
we're almost to that point where like that is totally possible.
that's awesome.
So
Good.
it took a lot of work to get there. So
Yes.
yeah.
For sure.
I know how much work you put into that, so
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Awesome. Well, thank you, my friend. If you have anything
Whoa, whoa,
else,
whoa, hold on. He's
oh,
he's got a whole list I know he wants to go through. Him and I talking about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. I don't know. You want to bring up this list?
Hey, the floor is yours, man. So if you want to talk about it, let's talk.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you guys feel about that, but like, I'm literally praying that the new track owner at CNS makes this like a way more fun place to race.
Mhm.
Cause it's like, like my whole life has been there, at that track, and we're so fortunate to have it, but it's like, I just hope that something changes, so we can just continue to race there. And it's like, that's kind of why I quit racing last year, is because of that. Like it just wasn't fun, And I know you guys felt the same thing at the end of the year due to situations that happen. Everybody has those situations, but it's like, man, there's so much potential at that racetrack that is right there by us, and
Right.
I just pray that like so we can get some change there with officiating and just the way things are running, and I hope, I don't know the new guy, but I hope that he hears that, and that's basically it in a nutshell. You know,
Yeah.
I have a list of things that aren't fun, but I don't really want to be negative, you know,
No,
about it. But
and just so people know, is like after George and I did that podcast with them to announce the change of ownership in the track, they put off a good vibe to me that they're excited, they're wanting to make some change, and I mean we'll have them back on again, and they can describe the changes that they want to make and their excitement in it. But like you said, it's something that I think, yeah, let's get back to having some fun and get guys level headed again and not wanting to win a race in turn one on the green flag, lap one, and go out and put on a show. Like that's what it's all about. Going out and have fun, finishing the race, like battle people, like you said, door to door, side by side racing, and having fun with it. We're racing for $600 in the modifieds. I'm not gonna go out there and go dive bombing people just because I think I can get the spot. Like it's not worth wadding up a $20,000 car for
More than that.
$600. Well, in a general sense for everybody, yeah, it's a little more than that, but you know,
yeah.
but
Yeah, that's one of the main things I have on this list I wrote is just the sportsmanship and accountability. And, that's, in my opinion, that's the track's responsibility to have those sort of ethics,
mhm,
to push it off onto us. Like if they see somebody driving like a idiot, like me in iRacing the other day, I got black flag for incident points, right? And I don't even know what that is, but I just my car just disappeared. But it's like that should be a real
okay,
thing, and that is a real thing in like F1 and whatnot with their licenses. Like if
yeah,
they have too many crashes, they get in trouble. So
yeah,
it's like they really need to keep tabs on that with certain people at the track that
mhm,
cause problems. Because if you keep letting that, it's like having a kid that you just let shit get away with all the time. It's like nobody's gonna want to be around that too
yeah,
often if nobody's holding them accountable. So
Yeah.
right,
that's like one of the main things. And I wouldn't care if I get into it with another guy and they say you guys are both sitting next week. Like I don't care whose fault it was. We don't put up with that crap in my track. Like that sort of accountability,
right,
and that's okay. Like both guys will learn if they want to, continue racing there, and that saves the rest of the field. You know what I mean? Because you get wadded up and top three get wadded up, it goes all the way back, and somebody who's not even involved gets the bad end of it.
right,
So it's the track's responsibility to keep us all safe, and then it's in doing so, like it used to be that way back in the day. It was CNS seemed like a serious place, like they didn't mess around, and I hope they can get back to that because it would be safer and it would also, I think, grow the field.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, and
But
especially with how many big races they got going on this year, it's a good schedule for the fans, and the fans want to come see some good racing. And we got some good car counts, it sounds like, coming up there this year, and some good races, and we want to keep it that way. So totally there with you.
yeah, and I think it's setting the precedence, right? Like right up front that, you know, you talk to people just as much as I do. Um, eh, no favoritism, right? Like there's nobody that's untouchable. Like treating everybody exactly the same, no matter if your name is Kyle Ray or if it's Joe Schmo, right? Like everybody gets treated equally. Everybody gets an equal playing field, and
Hmm.
and it'll really set the standard moving forward. I can't say how many times that's happened, but it's happened in the past. You know what I mean? Like it, and that's one thing that I think, and I'm hopeful for as well. Like right along with you, is that shit's just not going to be put up with because there's a lot of investment, there's a lot of time, even though this is still a hobby for most people, right?
Hmm.
Like there's umpteen dollars that go into this, and there's time and effort and people's lives that give up their lives to do this kind of thing, and you
Yep.
just want to see it be treated fairly, more or less, across the board. I mean, whether win or lose, right? But as long as we're all have an equal playing field, that's to me that's worth it. And at that point, worth the $600 that we get paid.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's just like the ethics of on track stuff, and then also with rules too. It comes the same way. Like, I mean, last year in the modifieds, then they started DQing or dropping positions for body stuff for the first time. I've heard people tell them change that, change this, but they actually docked Ryan Jones positions for that, and that's the first time I've seen that in a while. Like,
Yeah.
that's good. I like that. Like they need to actually make penalties that matter, basically. You know what I mean? And then it'd be good to have like this is a class 1 penalty, class 2 penalty, and that class of penalty is this many positions or this many, and that's all written down.
Right.
Because, like I've seen like, well, when Clay was too wide, remember they docked him so many points,
Right.
right? I've also seen Chris Eggleston be too wide and lose the whole Challenge Cup, got totally DQ'd the year I won
Yeah.
because his car was too wide, and they just took him off the board.
Right.
So it's like it's exact same infraction, but it's like, well, you can't say it's this much penalty this week and this much penalty that week. They need to have that like written down
Agreed.
so that it's not like whoever's making that decision anymore. It's like clear as day in the rule book.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's a gripe that Jake and I have talked about in the past on this show, and I'm sure you've seen it. It's same concept, right? Like there needs to be that code, right? That we can go to, and like we know going into it what's going to happen, right? There's not, to your point, like this week it's one thing, the next week it's another, right? Like where's the consistency at that point? Because
Mhm.
ultimately, what does that do? That pisses you off, it pisses me off. It takes money out of your pocket, takes money out of my pocket, whether they're in a championship hunt or not, right? Like that
Right.
shouldn't matter. It's setting the standard. This is what the playing field is, and this is what you can expect. And if you break the rules, this is what it is.
Yeah.
Whether it's me or you or anybody else in the field. Oh, did we lose him?
Oh, did his phone die?
Hey, this kind of broke out into a green flag, black flag situation.
It kind of did.
You should text him, tell him that he cut off. But his point, I know that we've talked about it previously on the show, um, and I know it's definitely a huge topic of conversation amongst a lot of different drivers and a lot of different divisions, right? Like it's
Mhm.
just that consistency. I'm not for one just like docking positions on every infraction. I think he's got a certain point there that he made about having different levels. I mean, NASCAR does it, right? Like they
Yeah.
have different levels of infractions. I mean, I think that's a great way to go about it, and it keeps it consistent.
Well, and for the new ownership, it's a great way to change from, you know, the previous, right?
Yeah.
And not trying to shoot Jim down or anything like that, but it's a good way to kind of start the new era is something like that, is making that change. And I think you'd find a lot more drivers will respect that if we keep to the rule book, and if it says zero tolerance, then it's zero tolerance. Sorry. Like if I ended up doing something to our car and it's not right and it says zero tolerance in the rule book, then you know what? It sucks, but we'll take it.
Right. I mean, it takes the fact of it being, again, it kind of goes back to that like perception of favoritism in a
Hmm.
sense. And you don't have to necessarily be the bad guy, right? Like you don't have
Yeah.
to, you just don't like me, so you're docking me because you don't like me bullshit. No,
Yeah.
like it's set in stone, this is the way it's going to be, and if you don't like it, tough, right? Like big deal.
His
It
phone
is.
died.
Oh,
I
his
thought
phone
that's what probably it was.
died. That's all right, that's all right.
Yeah.
But he did have, I mean, he's kind of set us up a little bit to kind of like talk about this, and I'm sure there's some people interested in this topic specifically because it's definitely something that's brought up year after year.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, all we can do is wait and see. I mean, I don't know how much of those type of. There he is.
Hey, sorry, man. Phone died.
Having so much fun, we killed your phone, huh?
Yeah, I got to stand up and plug it in.
That's like work the legs out. You're getting them in shape for the season.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. We were just kind of talking about, adding on to what you were just discussing about. My point being that it kind of takes away the perception of favoritism, right? Like when you do a system like you just discussed. And also it takes it out of your hands of being potentially the bad guy, right? Like here's the infractions and here's the cause and effect from it, right? Like you don't have to sit there and have those Monday morning conversations with people of why you made the decision you did, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree, man. And it like on track stuff. Like if they just put a kibosh on it, black flag both cars for doing anything stupid like that, it
Mhm.
sure sets a precedent. Like it's like, yeah, we don't have that at our track. This costs too much
Right.
money. It's not fair to everybody else. And then you do that enough and like say like it's one race penalty, then it's 5 race penalty, then it's a year penalty. Like those guys will get weeded out pretty quick. And
Yeah.
Mhm.
I know they're probably afraid to do that to certain people because they might have like, they might show up every night and they might, be a key like performer out there. But
Right.
if you let them get away with everything, it's like, yeah, it just kills the division,
Yeah.
Mhm.
specifically, So I don't want to race with stuff like that. I'd rather go race where it's fun. If
Mhm.
it's stricter where I go race, that's totally fine. Because if I'm not up to par in that, I will make sure I am.
Yeah.
I'll learn my lesson,
Right.
Yeah.
Be prepared.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty simple. You know what I mean? Like it's not rocket science. And there's so many other examples around the country that do that. I mean, every traveling series that we've ever been to, and I know that you've ever been to, even when it comes to the teching portion of it, right? Like if they find something wrong with your car, you don't hit the track, plain and simple.
Right.
It
Yeah.
doesn't matter, right? Like you follow the rules, and this is the rules, and that's it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
But all right. So what else you got for us? What other kind of controversial topics do you have on your list?
Let's see here.
Oh my God. Got a book.
Oh yeah, the rule changes, man. Like, like how the modified rules, like you see my car over there, it has a all new body on it, which is
Yeah.
totally fine because I'm not the one who makes the rules. Like I follow the rules. So if they
Mhm.
change the rules and my car doesn't fit them, I fix my car.
Right.
But some of them, it's like, man, they gotta, in my opinion, they gotta get it closer to some national rules to where doesn't feel like it's somebody complaining or one or two cars complaining that changes everything.
Mhm.
Mhm.
It's almost like how the legends have the INEX rules,
Yep.
Yep.
and when I race legends, CNS never had anything to do with the rules. And if somebody was complaining about the rules, they just whipped out the book and nobody could change that book in Colorado. You know what I mean? So there was no politicking for this rule or that rule or all these complaints about it. It's like if
Mhm.
they can, I know that you can't just change the rules overnight and make cars, not legal anymore. But if they could have like a goal that in like 3, 4 years they're going to this rule book and this is what our goal is, and the rules are then out of my hands, it would make their lives way easier.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
So
some classes that's hard to do, like the super or the late model class, that's like a CNS only class. Like the trucks, that's a CNS only class.
Yeah.
right.
But some classes it's not hard to do, like modifieds. If they picked
Mhm.
one,
Yeah.
it seems like the SRL modifieds are pretty much gone now, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there hasn't been much word about what's going on with that. I mean, it's on our schedule that they're coming, but at the same time, they haven't posted anything about a schedule or anything like that. And then that new modified series came out with, between Las Vegas and Madera. So yeah, it's interesting. So
But there in
Yeah.
turn, it makes it a lot easier because still in my mind, I think big picture, right? Like we do have a you mentioned it before. We have a centralized location for that's really not too far for east of here or west of here, and where there's still quite a few cars around. But if you had a rule book that was standardized from that's around the rest of the country, it'd be a circle on most people's schedules for at least to make a trip out here or two,
Mhm.
and that helps grow not only our class, but it helps grow the track, and it spreads word. And word of mouth advertising is obviously the best form you can possibly have. So if come out and they like it, and hey, I can pick up and go there anytime that I want, you never know what might happen. But
Yeah.
you're right. I mean, the late models and the pro trucks are kind of on their own island, but the super lates, now they have the pro late models that are going to be running, with the super lates. I don't know how you could get away with, the pure stock, super stock division, though. That would be kind of a tough one.
Yeah, I think they should. Somebody told me they should make those into like one division into figure eights and have like a second figure eight class with them or something. And I was like, well, that's great. That's a little wild, but that also would add a lot of expense. But
Yeah.
I mean, why wouldn't they want to just put all those together and have like a B main with them? Because that'd
Oh,
be awesome to watch.
I mean, we
Yeah.
already have that with the Legends cars, right? Like you have the slow and fast, so to speak. I mean, you could do the same thing with them. You still get a show out of it. You still get your laps in, right? But
Yeah.
it's just split up more or less.
Yeah.
When they have like the combined race at the end of the year where there's no points involved, no nothing, and there's like 45 of them on the racetrack at a time, that's the best show of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's
Like
hardly
there's
any cautions too. I
yeah,
mean, one or two, but
action all
good
over the
racing.
place, like good racing from first and second to 13th, 14th. You know what I mean? Like there's side by side racing going on. I mean, I to me it's makes a lot of sense, but who am I? I'm a dumb shit.
Yeah. I don't know. I think they do that just so that like the rookie drivers can have a chance and not just get beat by Chris Cox every week, like and then they feel like they'll never beat him. That's why they kind of did that. But that also goes in with like, it's almost like when your dad was racing modifieds, they had B mains for then they
Yeah.
had one division of modifieds and
Mhm.
they did it and there wasn't no participation trophy for the slow class and this class. It was
Yep.
they showed up and they put them all together and they had B mains and C mains or whatever they had to do, but they have the possibility to do that.
Yeah.
you know
I think
Yeah.
so.
And the car counts, I mean, really across the board, there is pretty good car counts here. Like in every division, really. I mean, the super lates was down last year, but outside of that, I mean, they got 20 plus cars most of the nights, right? Like you could make that happen, especially in those lower ones. I mean, the lower divisions, they got plethora of the cars. I mean,
Mhm.
ultimately, what does that do, right? Like it puts you back in the garage and focus on your shit to try and make the big show.
Yeah.
yeah.
If you can't
Yeah.
figure it out, ask around. People will help you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. What else you got for us?
That's it, man. Like like I said, I hope it gets fun out there again because we're very fortunate to have that type of track with that crowd, that many people, and
Yeah.
Mhm.
now we have new ownership, so that can be a good thing,
Yeah.
So I'm excited for it.
Yeah, well, we went up and got tires today and got to take a look at the progress that's being made. And I mean, there's a lot being done right now. That's for sure. I mean,
Mhm.
I don't know if I can really speak to it a whole lot, but
Let- Let's just say everybody's gonna like the upgrades. There's more to come, but everything that a lot of people have been complaining about on the show, or we see on Facebook, stuff like that, those are changing. So
yeah,
slowly they're getting there, but it's looking good every day.
yeah.
I could say that.
And that's the bright spot. I mean, again, nothing against Jim personally or anything like that, but was much needed upgrades
Mhm.
that needed to happen to that
Yeah.
place. I mean, it was falling apart. Like we
Mhm.
can be frank, right? Like
Yeah.
it was falling apart, and it needed some good
TLC.
TLC, and
Same.
they're investing in it. So, hopefully that it's across the board, like you mentioned, right? So not only from a fan perspective, but from a racer's perspective, and it'll only get better, hopefully from there.
Mhm.
But yeah. But anyways,
We're gonna make sure Kyle Ray has fun this year.
yeah.
It doesn't look like he's having
Tell
fun.
him.
I'm gonna come over there and slap him. Or
Let's go
pour
get
water
that
over his
super
head.
mod ready, man. Let's go do that exhibition. That would be
Hell
cool.
yeah. I'd be down. I would
I'm
totally
down.
be down for that. You let us know if you want to do it, and we'll go help you. It's October or November? I think it's November.
I
Yeah,
think
it's November.
November.
did
Yeah.
they move it? I thought they were gonna move it up a little bit, but I don't know.
Could be
It
wrong.
was it was November this last year. I know that.
Yeah.
So.
Because it used to be like first week of December or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like right around the snowball time.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right. Well, cool. Well, appreciate you. Take a couple minutes here. Talk about, shout out to your sponsors, whoever you want to give thanks to. It's kind of your moment to give a highlight to whoever you want to talk about.
Oh, I just thank my dad, my family, Gary, Mike, everybody that's helped me along this way. Couldn't do it without them. My girlfriend Carrie for putting up with me in the shop more than in the house. Just thank you. Thank you guys for being my friends for so long.
No problem.
We love being your
And,
friends, man. You're awesome.
You've helped
Yeah.
us out a lot.
Yeah. We're all a big team out there. So
That's for sure.
look forward to having fun with you guys this upcoming year. And if anybody needs a super late model, I got one for sale. Keep me in mind. I got to get rid of something.
It's a good piece, people. Like he said, he doesn't mince on equipment, so it's a good piece.
Yeah, it's a really good piece. So hopefully somebody gets some funds together and go take it off of his hands.
Mhm.
All right, buddy. Well, you take her easy, and we'll talk soon.
See ya.
All right.
Bye.
See ya. Oh, there we go. Kyle Ray, the one and only.
Love that guy.
Yeah,
so funny.
he's a lot of fun. Shoot, that was almost the most he's ever talked. I think in a
know.
short period of time I've ever heard.
I know. For a while, it was like he's a big introvert, and then all of a sudden, it's like this last couple of years, especially tonight. Hey, all right, got Kyle talking, and he's on Celia. Maybe it's the energy drink he was drinking.
That's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
You get him some of that liquid cocaine, and he'll just keep going like the Energizer Bunny. No, we appreciate Kyle a lot. Like he mentioned, we've known him for a very long time, and we always thankful for everything. He's helped us out quite a bit.
Yeah.
Any questions that we've ever had about anything racing, I mean, even from my early days of driving the '99 car, he spotted for me a
couple of races. Yeah.
Yeah, he spotted for me. Really helped me in driver development during a short stint. I mean, he knows a lot, and he knows these cars, and he's had a lot of experience. So I'm super grateful to have him and be able to lean on as a resource. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, with that being said, I mean, we can kind of talk a few minutes here. I know we've been kind of running a little bit long. We got a little long-winded there. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that.
And when you have a guest on, and they're rolling like that, you keep
let them go.
Let them talk. You just let them go.
Just let them go.
We love it.
But yeah, I mean, obviously our first show, our first new show, as you will, and the first one of the season. We're going to try and make this, we probably won't do another show next week because we're still trying to get a lot of work done in the shop. But the following week we'll do another show, and then as soon as race season gets kicked off, we'll be back to our weekly broadcasts every Tuesday night. Hopefully you all enjoyed the new time slot. It's being at 6:30. Hopefully that helps out, as things don't get as late, more or less. But give us some feedback, follow us on Facebook. I know we haven't been super active since we kind of kicked this all off, but we're going to try and bring more and more content, especially as we go through the season. We're going to be at the racetrack a lot this year.
Yep.
So we'll try to bring a lot to you guys from, all of our social pages and stuff as we go through the nights of racing as well. We're going to do some different stuff, like Jake mentioned. This year, we're going to try and maybe do some live stuff at the racetrack, interview people while we're there. You know what I mean? Like try to do some fun stuff with this. It's a whole new ball game with what we're going to try and do. So follow along with us. Help us share this. I know there's still a lot of people that don't know that we've kind of separated off a little bit. So, help us get the word out there. Spread this around. Like I said, it's kind of an unfortunate thing that we can't be live on Facebook right now, but as soon as that happens, we'll let you all know.
Right.
And we'll get back to our regularly scheduled broadcast. So,
and we're huge proponents of helping the little guy out, right? So if you have somebody out there that you want us to give a shout out to, and that might make a huge deal to them, please hit us up. Let us know. It's like, hey, can you give a shout out to this guy or this company or something like that? We would love to do that. The more that can help you as the racers and even just fans, we're here to help you guys. We're here to get the asphalt scene rolling again, and we want to make sure that any little bit that helps you, helps us too. It gives us good notoriety, but we also want to just put shine and light to what helps you out to get you to the track. So plus, we got segments that we can't do anymore since they're on our previous media. So if you have some segments, for us to name, we'd love to hear some feedback with that as well. We used to, I loved Give Me Some Lovin', but obviously we can't do that. We don't want to take that from Scrubbing Tires guys. But we want to do something similar, and
we'll leave it up to you. What do you want to name it?
Yeah.
What do you want to name it? This is going to be a collaborative effort here, as much as us as it is the fans and everybody watching at home. So, we're excited about this. So, real quick before we jump off here, then, obviously the racetrack announced that they have tires. We went up and got tires today. They have a little bit of a limited selection. So if you guys haven't gotten up there, definitely go up there and get what you can. John Whittar did say that he's got another batch of tires coming in next week, so don't feel like it's a necessity that you have to. So, and then obviously not this weekend, but next weekend. What is it? The 11th? Is it the 12th?
Yeah, first practice is the 12th.
First practice is the 12th.
Not this upcoming weekend, but the next weekend.
Hopefully we'll start seeing people out there. We'll be out there every single weekend. We won't be driving. I don't know if anybody follows our personal Smith Family Racing page or not, but yeah, I have both my daughters racing Bandoleros this year, so gonna be busy. We're gonna get them as much seat time as we can. Huh?
Not seeing the cars until race day.
Yes.
Kind of being secretive, like the track right now. We don't want you to see our stuff just yet. I want to surprise you.
I have heard a lot. There was one specific person that I am not going to name, but they have a slick new ride as well. I got to see it. So, yeah,
I think I know what you're talking about.
It's in the modified division, but slick looking car. Holy crap! Yeah.
So I gotta shout this out, Dennis the Panic. I'll shout you out. He just said, "Say my name." Say my name.
Well, and Marky Bremkamp, yeah. Can I ask for a shout out? Yes, we will give you a shout out.
I'm a little guy. Well, you're kind of a little guy.
Yep. So
you're a wee man.
With that being said, appreciate everybody coming on, following along. Hope you enjoyed it. Definitely tune in this week. We're gonna start making some more announcements. We're gonna start putting some stuff out there. Appreciate you all for tuning in for Hitting the Chip. This is Jake and Jordan, and we will catch you on the flip side.
It's kind of weird. I want to do this, but I can't.
I know. I wanted to too, but
Yeah. Everybody have a great night.
Yeah. Have fun, everybody. See you later. There we go.
Sweet. Keep open while you're